Happy Friday, everyone. I know you're probably tuning in to see how my last treatment went, and I'll just say thumbs up for now, um, and I'll give you more details later. I want to spend this particular video on somewhat of a public service announcement. The following comments and suggestions are my own. I have not verified anything I'm about to say by a professional, and if I've stated anything incorrectly, please forgive me. My intention is to share my own experience and raise awareness about triple negative breast cancer. If you have any questions, please consult an oncologist that specializes in triple negative breast cancer for formal advice. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a cancer specialist, I am a triple negative breast cancer survivor. Today is March 3rd, and it is Triple Negative Breast Cancer Awareness Day, uh, commonly known as TNBC. Triple negative breast cancer is what I am fighting right now. If you've been watching my videos and reading my blog, you're probably more aware of it than others. But I'm going to post this out there on Facebook so that those who may not have been keeping up with me can hear the news as well. I want to raise awareness of the differences between other breast cancers and triple negative on this day that is special to me. There are many types of breast cancer. It's not just two. It's not just regular or triple negative. Triple negative, it affects 15 to 20% of breast cancers, which is actually pretty high from what I thought. I thought it was a lot lower, mainly because many people that I mention it to have never heard anything about it. And since breast cancer impacts 1 in 8 women in their lifetime, most people know someone who's had breast cancer, but most people know nothing of triple negative breast cancer. Triple negative breast cancer is the absence of receptors in the cancer towards the common hormones estrogen, progesterone, and HER2/neu. Most breast cancers have some type of receptor to one of those hormones, and what that means is that hormone feeds the cancer and helps the cancer grow. When you don't have a receptor at all, it kind of leaves the doctors with nowhere to go. How do they treat it? They can't take away what is hurting it. So if you've known anyone who's gone through chemo, they may take like what they call their chemo pill for 5 years after they're done with their treatment, and after they've won their battle, they'll take this chemo pill, and what it does is it blocks those receptors and gets that person to that magical number of 5 years post cancer, 5 years cancer free, where it is less likely to return than even in a normal someone who's never had breast cancer. So that's a really big deal. If you ever know of anyone who's celebrating their 5-year anniversary, go all out for them. And that pill will help them. With a triple negative breast cancer patient, there is nothing. You end your treatment and you hope it doesn't come back. And the likelihood of it coming back is much higher than it was than it is for someone who had a receptor positive cancer or breast cancer. I want to shout to the world information about triple negative breast cancer, because I feel like there are women who are getting a triple negative breast cancer diagnosis and not realizing what that means. It means you need to ask more questions. You need to insist on additional scans. You do not want to finish your treatment and then just go on with life. You need to ask that you get MRIs or PET scans annually, not just a mammogram. That's all that was offered to me. It was not enough because my cancer did not come back in my breast. It came back in my lungs and in my brain, which is common for TNBC, for it to not come back in the breast, for it to come back someplace else. So a mammogram is not going to help you as much. I don't want to tell you not to get a mammogram, but it's not going to help you as much as it might help someone else who had breast cancer isolated to their breast, that it didn't get into any lymph nodes anywhere else in the body. It was isolated to the breast. That's what mine was. But because mine was triple negative, it was more likely to pop up somewhere else. And if I had been getting MRIs and PET scans on a regular basis, it would have been, it's not that it wouldn't have happened, it just would have been noticed much, much sooner. And I do not want anyone else to look back and wish that they would have insisted. I want to encourage you to ask for it. If your gut tells you you need it and insurance says you don't, fight it. Fight it on the pretense that you have triple negative breast cancer. If you don't win, consider paying for it yourself. It will give you peace of mind and keep you safe. Triple negative, I'm looking down at my notes here because I went to the triple negative breast cancer foundation.org site to get some of my talking points here. I've read lots about them, but I really wanted to get to the point and not drag you on all day long talking about TNBC. But I want you to realize that TNBC, while it can impact any woman, it most often impacts younger women. In fact, the TNBC foundation.org website was founded by friends and family of a young lady who in 2006 passed away from TNBC. She was only 35. And they wanted to start raising awareness. It was around 2007 that the oncology community started referring to TNBC by name. I've read that it didn't really even officially have a name until 2007, and that was only 10 years ago. Breast cancer has been around for much longer than that. So at least we're getting some awareness. Just want to keep the ball rolling and get more awareness. Another demographic that is harder hit by TNBC are African American women and women with the BRCA1 mutation gene. That may sound familiar to you. It was Angelina Jolie several years ago when this news came out. She realized that, or found out that she had carried the BRCA1 gene, which highly increases your likelihood of developing breast cancer. And she took extreme measures, which very personal decision, not one that I would support or defend. Either way, it's very personal. She had a double mastectomy and hysterectomy, had all of her girly parts gone just to protect herself from getting any form of female cancer because she carried that gene. You may have read about that or heard about that. Most likely you have. But for me, I was 40 years old whenever I was diagnosed. There is no history of breast cancer in my family. There is a history of other female cancers in my family, but not breast cancer. And I thought that I had beat it in 2012, not understanding what there was to know about TNBC. And that's why I'm so passionate. I want to, of course, I spend most of my blogging time telling you about how the Lord is carrying me through this, how my faith it is so important to me, and wanting others to draw near to the Lord as well. But in this case today, my main point is just awareness of what the disease is, so that if you or anyone you know has ever gets a TNBC diagnosis, that you have someone that's been there, done that, and that can advise you on what they would have done different if they had known from someone else. So I hope you never hear the words TNBC from anybody but me. But if you do, please feel empowered please demand what is necessary to keep you safe. I love you all, and thank you for listening to me ramble on for so long. Bye bye.